What up? Welcome to your morning drip. Another illustrious episode. I am your host, Ronan Rock. We have special guests, Lynn in the building, coming in to do all the great things.
What's up? What's up?
I'm very excited for this episode. I say that every single time, but I actually really am very excited for this episode.
You can be excited for everyone because everyone's dope.
Everyone's dope, but you're dope in a way where you could beat me up probably in less time than it takes to heat up a hot pocket.
Only if provoked.
I mean, I've seen your Instagram. I feel like even not provoked. I feel like it would be a thing that like you would go like on a first date and then someone would be like sneak up behind and try to give you a hug and you just give them the uppercut of the century.
I mean, consent is cool, y'all. Like, just remember that. Consent is cool.
I wish more people were like you in the world just in this. What? Oh. Yeah.
Hair check. That's Jesus with the hair and makeup.
I have horrible allergies, and it's only come on as an adult. I can do no type of Claritin, whatever type medicine to fix any of this.
Have you ever used a neti pod?
Yes.
And it didn't work?
It didn't work.
Oh, man.
I have a weird body just in the sense that it's like the first time I take a medicine, it's like, okay. And then the next time it's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck anymore. I am the first date of medicines and only. I never get a second date.
Medicines ghost on you.
All the way. Like, not even a like, yeah, I think we should just be friends. It's just like, yo,
just disappear.
I'm gone.
Yeah.
Anyways, first off, tell the people who you are and what you do.
Well, first off, Ronan, your morning drip crew. Jesus, what's up? Thank you for having me.
Yes.
So my name's Lynn, and I'm the founder of a company called Society 9, and it's a modern femme sports brand providing boxing gear to empower women and their fight.
Yes. So
we're not a gym. I told Jesus I would clarify that because I get asked that all the time. We're not a gym. But you can find our awesome gear at Society9, spelled out NINE.com.
Wait, let me see. Why? All right, so
we don't have internet here.
We do have internet here. We have all the internets here, provided by, I don't know, but we have it. And my favorite thing, I'm gonna try to. Hey, the funny thing is, Jesus gets to see what I'm doing.
This is actually my fault to the audience who's listening, watching. It's my fault because I own a product company and I brought none of the products. Classic Friday morning. But yeah, so this is all on me that this is happening right now.
What are you talking about? This is what we always do.
Yeah, I know, but still, I didn't do my thing, that I was supposed to do.
You did the thing just by sitting up here creating a brand and then
that's cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Y'all, we've got technology.
We have technology.
Here.
Right now it's in picture on the internet, so people's got the big thing. We're just in the little box in the corner.
Yeah, I dig it.
Yes. So this is amazing. Also, this has got to be a thing every time that you go to your website.
It's so meta, right? Like, this is Black Mirror shit right here.
Like I love
you
that.
You got me in 3D and you got me live and direct on the site.
On the site, just in the corner. Like I almost want to click to hear what you're saying right now.
You can. It'll help guide you through how to determine the best products.
Hey there. Welcome to Society 9. We're a modern femme sports brand providing boxing gear and sportswear to empower you and your family.
Look at that.
How can we help you today?
Your girl's always ready to help you.
Yo.
Yeah. Anywhere, worldwide. You could be in Dubai and I'll still help you.
You know what that now makes me feel like you are?
What?
It makes me feel like you're like Alexa or Siri, and that you should now do that for some new platform. Just be on it and just be like, hey, Metaverse, I am your helper, Lynn.
I mean, I'm always ready. I'm always down for a partnership or opportunity. Hit your girl up.
So first off, explain the story of how this came about, because you're already into boxing and you're already in this arena of, because do you do Dead Stock Run Club, or do you just be like, yo, I'll be getting in my 40 miles a week anyways. I don't need these chumps that can't keep up with me.
Okay, first off, they're not chumps. I think the club is dope. I am more into like strength and conditioning. That's kind of my jam right now. But I think that's the thing. I consider myself a lifelong recreational athlete. Like if I compete one day for my own like ambition, I'm totally down for that. But in general, I just love being active because it makes me
Olympics 2024.
right. It just makes me feel alive, like any sort of movement. And I also think that movement is a way to capture joy in a different way. And for me personally, like at least with Society 9 and then on a personal level, my mission was always to create a space, a community, and in this case, obviously a brand that encourages all women in particular to feel like they can be as they are and get after it, no matter what their skill set is, where they come from, what they look like. You know, I when I used to teach kickboxing, so I guess that leads to the origin story. So when I used to teach kickboxing, this was 2012, 2013, I remember like so many of my students were so diverse in age and body type, in ableism. You know, I had a student once that had or was training in a wheelchair. Yeah. And we would just move certain bags around so that they could be there too, and they would participate, and we would make modifications as needed. But I think in that experience, I was able to witness and feel the transformative experience that these people went through by doing boxing and kickboxing. And that was, for me, so fulfilling. And, you know, in that capacity, a lot of my students were women. They would always ask me where they could find good boxing gloves, because when you Google women's boxing gloves at the time, all you would find is like the giant bubblegum pink stuff. Yes. Super low quality, ugly, doesn't fit well. And it was usually like the lowest quality stuff that was marketed specifically for women. Yeah. And, you know, I myself have tiny hands, and I used to have to double wrap my hands too, because I couldn't close my hand in a glove. And if you think about when you're punching,
you can get injured that way, right?
Oh yeah, because if your hand can't close into a fist in the glove, you're basically punching like this, open-handed, and you can risk injuring yourself. Yeah. And being able to make a fist in a glove is like the first part of safety and training, really. Yeah. And so the more I was getting asked this question as an instructor, the more I realized, you know, like, why don't we have better shit for us? Yeah. Just, you know, because where there's where there's a market, there's opportunity. And clearly, like, my class was anywhere between 30 to 40 people, and at least half or 2/3 of the class were women. So I thought that it was like a really interesting reality that I was getting asked this so many times. And so again, going back in time, this is 2013, started tinkering around with the idea, started doing just informal focus groups to understand what it is that they wanted to see in a glove. Also getting things like studying hand measurements and seeing if there's really any differences in a woman who's 5'11" versus a woman who's 4'11", which I am, you know, and really using that information to grade in size our gloves, as well as how the padding should be and so forth. So that is what led to the development of the glove. And I quit my full-time job August 2014 to pursue it full-time. and then launched the company on Kickstarter February 2015, which was like our year zero. I call it the year of our birth. And haven't looked back since. So 2016 was our true first year when we officially shipped out our first product that January. So this is our 7th year now.
Yeah,
somehow.
that is amazing. Though, and I think people really don't understand this within like the Kickstarter-esque of doing a product. Like, especially if it's a physical product, that there's the initial concept of doing said thing. And then there's like, all right, now we have to figure out a prototype for it. And we have to have someone make this. And that prototype is ridiculously expensive, no matter what it is. Even if you can do it yourself, more so if you have to go through someone else to do it. But then you go through that portion of it, and then you turn into then the manufacturing, where it's like, if you're not in that world, you have to have someone guide you through it, and then you have to pay them to do it.
You're right.
And then after that, the quality control, and you correct me if I'm wrong on any of these steps, because you've been through it.
Yeah.
The quality control of it, and then you finally get said product, and then you can sit up here and start like figuring out like a little bit beforehand, before the major manufacturing the numbers. You can do the Kickstarter, but then also you have to do the whole video, the promo, and like the product is gonna sell, 1,000 units within the first X amount of time. Like, you have to do all that stuff, and it's an amount of work that makes you, I think, respect these huge conglomerate companies. Like, you do this multiple times a season.
Well, they also have multi-million-dollar or even billion-dollar budgets.
Yes.
So yeah, I think first things first. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for a team that has evolved over time. So, early on, I had 2 colleagues who helped me figure out the branding, the focus group exercise, the getting the information, doing early sketches. That's shout out to Jack and Alex. And then as all of us had different life things come up, we figured out like who's fully committed in this, who's not. That was me. So I graduated and started figuring more stuff out on my own, found more people to work with. I mean, it takes a village, I think. And I think that doesn't get talked about enough, especially with like founder stories and startup stories, is like, on the one hand, so many of these profiles that get written up in magazines or blogs or whatever publications, my story is important, and I'm grateful that it's gotten the shine that it has. But equally, there has been a whole village of people who have believed, contributed, also been compensated, but like there has been a village of people along the way too who said, you know what, bet I'll mess with you on this. Like, let's tinker around. Vision. Yeah, I see the vision. Let's tinker, and I think I'm very grateful for that. I mean, that's something that doesn't ever go away. And especially all those pieces along the way, even if it wasn't someone who directly got involved, if they were like, I don't do that, or I don't know much about that, but I actually think I know someone who does. And it becomes this really crazy tree or matrix of people, this web. And I think living in Portland, I have a lot of love just as much as I have hate for Portland. It's a love-hate relationship, and we can go into that too. But one thing that I do love about the city is collaboration is really easy.
It's because we're such, and I probably, if I said this once, I've said this a million times, Portland is a big town, small city, and because of that, everyone knows everyone. So it's a thing that when you tap into one of your contact lists and you think that someone may know something, it's like, hey, I have a friend at Nike that did X. And it's like, they worked with soft goods, but they know the hard goods person that you need to get in contact that's not in, like, they left the big industry world and they're more so working with independent clients starting out with stuff. And so, like, those moments, like in Portland, I think are crazy. Like, I can't imagine some of the ones that you've been through. Like, first off, because I didn't realize, because I've only known you as the kickboxing guru. What did you do before this?
What did I do? I mean, my career was also super nonlinear. I mean, when I graduated, so I went to University of Portland. I graduated in 2011.
Oh, please don't tell me you were born here.
No.
Thank God.
What? Is that a topic we need to go into? That
I mean, we
that
can.
Felt super loaded. I was born and raised in Olympia, Washington, and then I came down here.
Wait, people are actually born in Olympia? I just thought that was a stopping point for government officials. I didn't know people actually lived there.
Your girl's a product of Olympia.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, did you live the life of House of Cards? Because that's the only thing I can happen to imagine. Like, you got like dead bodies. That's why you started doing the kickboxing. You were sitting up here taking out government agents.
No, Olympia was about as boring as you could get. But but no, so when I graduated from University of Portland in 2011, I really didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. But
What'd you get your degree in?
Business.
Are you the first person that we've interviewed that actually? No, you're not. But you one of the first people that actually got their degree and used it.
Well, I actually did. So believe it or not, when I was a freshman, I was a double major in theater and social justice. Social work specifically, but my interest.
With
yeah,
those
and then we
things-
morphed into business.
So you, what's homie's name that did Hamilton?
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah, you just did a disservice to your people. I'm just letting you know that, Jesus.
I was a hardcore theater geek in high school. Hardcore.
Oh, wow.
I thought to myself I was going to be a stage manager. I wanted to.
So
be
wait, you weren't even being like, "Hey, I want to act." You were like,
no,
hey,
I was like, I want to run the stage. I want to be a freaking roadie, but like run the stage. I wanted to be the CEO of the stage. Like,
wait, so was this only?
Ronan's mind is like,
yeah, I'm blown. I'm all the way gone.
Yeah.
So wait,
you need me to produce your shows? I got you. I got old skills I can pull up.
Jesus is like, yes, please, thank you, do the things. Well, no, all right. First off, one,
you didn't expect that divergence, didn't you?
No, and you know what? Saying this in a way that's not trying to sound like a white person, I appreciate how see, this is what I can't talk, I can't speak. So no, the way that you just said that word, I'm not even gonna make attempt to say it because I'm gonna say whatever that movie was, the teeny. Yeah, I was gonna say that instead of what you said. I don't even know the word you said. It's already escaped my brain.
A divergent, yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, no. So how did you
go from
the real question is? So were you trying to go to Hollywood and be like, hey, I want to be a part of a film crew or I want to set up my own
theater,
thing? But it was theater. Like theater.
Freaking put me on a world tour. I want to there was this whole fascination for me. Like, so just for context, in high school, our high school, shout out Capitol High School, we had a really hardcore theater program. I'm talking like if you were to stereotype high school musical.
Don't look to your left. Just don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh.
Just so weird.
I know.
So weird. He knows what it's like to be there, and then he does it. Yeah.
But
are you coming in?
Special guest. Oh, locked out.
Are you coming in?
Right on cue, Mr. E Weezy.
You don't see. You don't understand how much of a special guest you are because Ian doesn't come down for anybody on Fridays. We could sit up here and be like, hey, yo, we got Allen Iverson with the whole entire 76 champion team that never happened.
I'm wearing my sweatshirt.
Oh. She got me an Iverson sweater for my birthday.
For his birthday, I got him an Allen Iverson sweatshirt that he's not rocking today.
Yeah, it's
rude.
My bad. It's at the spot.
It's okay. He weirdly has his Snow Peak chopsticks with him. I don't know why I know that that's what they are.
I'm pretty sure I've used them. Wait, where is it? I'm gonna be here for a couple minutes.
All right, grab yourself a seat.
Yeah.
You grabbing the mic?
Yeah, bro. Nah, we're good.
Oh. Audio. Okay.
1, 2, 1, 2.
So you're gonna have to scoot over just a tiny bit, so that Ian can actually. I also love how you're sitting in the seat. I didn't even realize.
Oh, Yeah, ergonomics.
Yo, you
I like
do
the
you.
I like the lean. That's why.
Yeah.
She prefers to lean with it and rock with it.
right.
I knew you were gonna make that joke. I don't know why I have a sense of like my friend's about to tell a corny joke, but like I almost can beat them.
It was on point.
It's a projection. It's an energy projection.
Yeah.
It's putting it out there.
Sure. Also, Jesus, please lock that door back before we have my nemesis come through. Oh, have you heard the story of our nemesis? It's now
No.
our nemesis / the block's
I'm not
nemesis.
gonna lie, it is a community.
Do you need me to fight them?
Oh wow, this would be a no, because I want you to survive
I don't
this.
want. Also, I don't want an assault charge, so I won't. But if you need me to flex,
So, all right, did you ever see the TV show Boondocks? Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
All right, so there's a character on there that's Stink Meaner. Do you remember this?
no.
All right, so Stink Meaner is basically a blind guy that is just horrible. Like he's racist to black people and everybody else.
Okay, equal opportunist. All right.
Yes, and he's just he literally sounds like this. He's like
First of all.
Oh,
fuck
okay.
you,
So
nigga.
so internalized racism. Great.
Yes.
Okay.
But he's blind, and everyone's like, "Oh, I got to be nice to you because you're blind," and then he's just horribly ridiculous. It's like
Okay.
says the worst stuff. Anyways, long story short, he gets into a fight with Grandpa on the show, and so they have this constant battle.
Okay.
And it goes on for multiple episodes. That dude is my Stink Meaner.
Okay.
So he's
that's
like-
loaded.
So he
No, that dude is Stink Meaner as a person.
Okay.
like perfectly. Like his voice is so annoying, and he has catchphrases like he always is like "fuck you, nigga," and does all this other kind. P.S. We're not on the radio, so you can curse to your heart's content.
Oh wow. Okay.
You don't have to. You can keep it inside.
I'll keep it proper. I'll keep it proper. I'm gonna keep it proper.
What hat is that? We'll talk about it later.
Anyways,
Should we close the curtain? Because
This is that.
oh no, we're Good Morning America. Because then someone's gonna try to walk in.
okay.
Someone does something sitting weird at
I'm supposed to
the.
try to walk in.
Someone's gonna sit weird at the window, and it's gonna be there for forever. And then the best thing is someone's gonna try to break into my car, and I'm gonna catch them live on air.
Great.
That's why-
Oh
that's
yeah,
why you have
I
to
did.
have it-
I did see that. That
That's why
was
you have to have it
ready to-
unlocked, so you can be ready to go.
I don't know. I don't want Whoopi Goldberg to try to bust in again. That was a lot.
You don't want the swag unlocked?
No, I don't want the door unlocked.
Hey, that was a good one, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I that's why I said door. Anyways,
Oh, man.
Stink Meaner has tried to take my paintings off the wall. Stink Meaner has tried to fight me in the streets, which recently in front of Ian, which this is the best thing ever, and I'm finally happy that you're here so we can
you're
talk
like
about this.
you're like a easy target to them.
Oh, to everybody, to everything.
Okay.
It's literally amazing. So, anyways,
Paying for parking.
Ian was like outside. This dude came up. I'm like, just sold paintings to people. They're taking a picture with me. And then he's just across the street, just like, fuck you, nigga. No one should buy your artwork. It's trash.
Oh,
you need a
dang.
professional photographer. Get off that phone. Like, he's going crazy. And then he comes up to Ian, and this is the best part. He's like, hey, man, you don't even know. Has this huge bag. He's like, hey, man, you don't know. You don't need pastries. I got your pastries. I get them for free. You can just take the pastries. Hey, fuck your milk, nigga. I got milk. You don't need that milk. I got milk for free.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's like, I even got that regular milk. I got the special milk that you like. And
Wow.
he
So
just
he's
keeps
bougie.
He keeps going. And
Okay, so he's bougie.
I've already gone in the shop because I'm like, I can't be on the street because I'm gonna end up fighting this dude. And then I hear him say something about a weapon. And then
Oh, okay. Okay.
and then I snapped and I
Not
come
ominous.
outside and Ian Mayor Wheezy, as we like to call him, running 2024 the same year going to the Olympics.
You going to Olympics?
Yeah.
We were talking
maybe.
about it. We're figuring it out. We got
We
yeah,
were talking about it before you came in.
we might have
Yeah.
to do the whole entire Run Club Rocky moment to then
Or I might do your world tour as a stage manager.
I mean, yo,
we were talking about
Man,
me
y'all was talking about a
having,
lot of stuff.
yeah, we were talking about how I used to be hella into theater and how my dream was to be like the CEO of like a major world tour, essentially, aka like tour manager, stage manager, whatever. So I told Ronan when he's ready for his world tour, just let me know. I'll stage manage it.
yo, please.
The lasers, the flames,
I'm
the dancers,
I mean,
the twirlers in the air.
we need this. We were trying to do this in New York with Jesus, and it's a lot.
Jesus, are you not pulling your weight? What's going on?
No, someone came to the airport and didn't bring set equipment, and I purposely didn't bring an extra bag so they could bring set equipment. And then when they showed up, they said, "No, we couldn't get to it. It's okay."
I was just saying to say that, you know, the event is a lot and it's a high production. I wasn't trying to throw no shots.
Oh damn!
Because
we got an HR moment right now. This is a performance review.
I think Chris Paul went 14 for 14 last night. I think he just went 14 for 14. He was like, no missed buckets.
I mean,
I'll say this. That it's like the show is a lot, and like there is a lot of times where we're about
This is a performance review.
Hey, but it's a good
Giving
one.
feedback to the manager.
Grade A over here.
hey, just not making any more of this show about me after this. Just confirm the craziness of my life within anything that happens on a daily basis.
So Ronan's like, you wouldn't believe this. Like, every time I tell someone that this happened, like, no one ever believes me. But then I've been around him long enough to see things really actually happen in person.
Really good and
I'm
bad.
like, wow, that really happened.
Like,
wow,
oh,
that
this
person really
tracks.
hit your
Okay.
car.
Yeah. My show, you know, we got broken to live on air, and then I fought a dude with a flamethrower at my other property, and then, you know, my neighbor got their door knocked on, and then some guy was threatening him with a gun, and then I had to chase the police. I chased the police. Think about that.
Wow.
Yeah, all in the same night.
Man, that all sounds like.
Yo, every day I live training day.
Born ready.
Just ready to go. And
What was his profession on training day?
Huh?
What was his job on training day?
I hate you so much. Just go. Just leave. You're a garbage person. You're a trash panda. You know what that is? That's a raccoon. You're a trash
Wait,
panda.
You called me a coon?
No,
Wow.
I called you.
Wow.
No. Once again, I said
I
that
came
you're
on to be
a
a witness
trash
today.
panda.
I came on to be a witness today.
Yo,
Apparently.
remember this episode that I'm like, yo, I can't wait to talk about all this stuff with you and everything else. This is gonna be great.
Ronan just called me.
A trash panda. I said a trash panda, which is basically a raccoon. But you don't sit up here and watch Marvel movies, so you don't sit up here and get the reference.
I don't.
Yeah.
But the reference I do get is that you should be a police officer.
Wow. It's a loaded Friday. I didn't know what I signed up for today.
We encourage this frequently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I should have talked about you yesterday at my press conference.
You did a press conference
I
yesterday?
did. Actually, you want to see the most hilarious?
Do we
photo?
just bring it?
No, you don't have to bring up the whole
Press
press
conference.
But
Did you announce your
Mayoral
mayoral
candidacy?
candidacy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I sure did.
No, dude, this is the thing is you should become the officer. You can become Commissioner Gordon, and then I can officially be Batman.
I don't have time to be the actual officer.
Then you could be the mayor, and then you could sit up here and...
I could be a mayor.
Yo, Commissioner Gordon never does anything. You've never seen a
That's
Batman
true. That's
episode
true.
where he does something.
Neutral.
That is me.
You just turn on the light, and then I go handle business. So, like, let's just do that. So, theater.
Circling back.
I just sent you the funniest. You don't even have to look at the clip. I just want you to bring up the still image.
Oh wow. Oh, and Tess is there. Oh wow.
But look at the still. Can you show just that part?
The funny thing
And
is
how
the still
Photoshop
doesn't come up when you click on the thing. I got you. I'm just gonna screenshot
Can you
it.
screenshot it?
Yes.
You're gonna love this.
Let me make.
I've
this.
known Ian long enough that when he says it in that way, it's usually an uh-oh.
You're gonna love this photo.
I love the world of technology where I make something full screen and then the photo becomes smaller. Because it's in my text messages, so I make the text messages thing bigger. It made that smaller. Okay. Let's see. Really? Is this my life?
Yeah, it's your life.
Yo, dude, why is everything difficult? Anyways, now I can do it. And then I can make it full screen. It's blurry as heck, but we got it.
Look how Photoshop that looked.
This does look like any episode of Cops. Like 5 seconds beforehand, there's two white ladies that were sitting having a casual conversation.
And then there's a random guy in the back. Like, hey man, what y'all talking about?
I'm not gonna say what they usually say, but the newscast when like they're doing it and they're all serious and someone walks up.
Photoshop that look in the background.
Even like the way that the color looks of your shirt, it looks like you were inserted in there.
It does, and I will tell you, it's because the.
Were you the diversity committee?
Yes, I was.
And the diversity hire.
Yeah.
They were like, Ian, please come on today. We need a black. The two people that they had before, one of them had got COVID, and they knew about that a few days before. And then the second person,
the second black.
Then the black that they went to next, Camila, who has the Mimi's fresh teas.
Okay.
Her mom had to go to the hospital that morning, and so they were like, "Can you please do that?" I was like, "I can do that."
Oh.
But everybody
Shout
else
out to her mama.
Yeah,
She's okay.
Yo.
Respect the elders.
Yeah, for real. They.
I love that they chose you. They definitely did not. We're not gonna call me like, hey, no.
But everybody else got up there with like full, like Jesse had talking points for days, right? And it had a lot to like.
I do know that Jessie Burke. She will come at you with facts and data.
She had a lot of facts that she had to get through, and then the director of Clean and Safe, who's a British dude, didn't know, but he started talking. I was like, oh, but I couldn't have that reaction because I'm standing behind him, like. But then he got up there and had like 7 pages that he like read through, but also had facts. Like we grabbed this many pounds of garbage over this many days, and this many days it all returned. And like, so he had a lot of facts. And then I got up there and I was like, I ain't got no paperwork, but I'm just going to tell y'all about what happens in the streets on the daily.
And about, what's his name? Stinkmonger?
Stink
meter.
Stinkmonger. He's evolved. Oh, wow.
Which is crazy because Stinkmeaner already is very powerful.
Oh, yeah. Right. Well, like he's a martial arts master, and it's funny because he's blind, so he's like the blind swordsman, and then he uses his cane for it.
Well, Killmonger also, I mean, yes, he's a villain, but he's a complicated villain because he's got generational trauma that he is processing that led him to project his hurt and anger into villainous behavior.
Like most villains.
You stepped in it right there. you fully stepped in it. You stepped in the doo-doo. First off, I will say only this, and I'm going to leave it at this. So my first is my last. Killmonger in any other situation is George Washington.
What?
So in the sense of George Washington liberating his people, taking them to a new land, trying to reform the system so that they can survive, Killmonger is not the villain within the story. The system is the villain in the story.
Okay.
And I just viewpoint it as, yo, if Killmonger was
I shouldn't have used villain.
No. You're right. No, please.
I mean in like Disney vernacular.
I'm not. No, you are correct. Okay. You are correct within you saying this. I'm saying that the world, how the world views it,
right,
is like if any other situation, that person is a hero. Like,
agreed.
Like that person is the one that beats down the Americans coming into, or not Americans, the Europeans coming into America, kicking out the Mexicans, kicking out the Native Americans, and it's like, yes, we won, but it's actually the right way where it's like, yo, Killmonger's like, I go back home to my people and I try to be like, hey, we got to liberate all our other black people. We got the technology, we can do it better, we got them.
Well, that's why Stinkmonger is coming around with his
he's
his
an
bougie
artist.
Bag. I'm gonna call it his bougie bag with the almond milk and the pastries.
Oh yeah,
you know?
The other thing
it was probably like some good pastries.
Just put some swastikas on the window.
He did. He drew
and
some
then put some doo doo on Unspoken's door.
And told
them he comes.
Yo, that's the crazy part is that he'll tell you that he did it.
We should just do this episode on Stinkmonger.
Yeah.
I love that you call him Stinkmonger. I just literally want to pop off his head, go get a Stinkmonger head, put it on there, and then just give it to him.
They have a Stinkmeaner one?
Soon enough. Oh. I mean, they're getting around to
Funko Pop. Please make a Stinkmeaner one of these.
Yo, if they made a Riley and Huey pop figure, isn't that a heartbeat?
Yeah. You know, you want to know something crazy? The day that I knew that Society 9 like made it was when a customer, I'm not kidding you, got a custom Funko Pop of herself in Society 9 boxing gloves.
Oh, that's tight.
Isn't that freaking crazy? I
please-
can actually pull that up.
Is it on your IG?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
pull it up right now. But yeah, like I think that blew my mind, like for sure. I've never seen. First off, I don't know anything about figurines, but then I saw that and I was like, how does someone get a
All
I
right.
Boo jams
Funny?
in the morning?
All right.
All right, I'll give you one.
We're gonna go from stinkmonger
I'll give
to
you
boo
one
jams.
guess on Instagram who that pulled up instantly. Who that was?
I don't know. It looks
It's
like,
someone that we both know.
Oh, that's on like one of those Now This videos.
It was Gigi.
I would not have guessed
I
that.
know you would have. No, that's not the right one. Well, just send it to me or airdrop it to me, and then I can pull it up because I'm going to your IG.
I don't know if I have your phone number.
Just tag them in it.
Don't wait. Why would you tag me in it?
Because you can pull it up on Instagram on your
Oh
computer.
yeah. Oh yeah. That's right.
Or send it to your morning drip as a message. Yeah,
Okay,
that
okay.
would be the thing.
Technologies.
Even though I'm
We
just
dripping,
going
man.
to.
There, I just sent it to your morning trip.
Okay.
Shout out to Serena for doing that. She
Williams?
No.
Oh.
She is an OG Society 9 brand ambassador, and Serena
That's amazing.
owns, I think, like 15 pairs of art gloves or something crazy like that. But yeah, she got this made, and when she tagged us, I
About lost it.
Yeah, I would have never. If you asked me 7 years ago when I started Society 9, like this is the dope shit that I never thought could happen, and here it is. So
That's pretty tight.
Plus, you guys are into Funko Pop, so here you go.
Yeah, I'm super nerdy.
It's on brand.
It's just me.
Very on brand.
He's like, can you guys adopt me? Updated family photo.
I know.
Oh, with the dog?
Yeah. And then
Full
is that
family.
a bunny rabbit?
Yeah, full family.
That's what's up.
Yeah, shout out Serena.
So getting back to you and not all the craziness when Ian walks in the door.
I'm just here.
Yo, dude, I appreciate it. So you're a theater kid going through that, and you just decided one day, you know what?
Okay, well,
So
okay, so now I'm going to sound super capitalistic, but I'm just going to say it. 2 weeks into school, again, I was a freshman when I went in, declared, I want to do theater and social work. I realized that I wanted to make money. So then I switched.
Those are two things that you could super not make money.
Yeah, so I was like, I maybe want to venture into something that feels a little bit more like a sure bet. Because I felt like if I went into business, then I could do more of either of those things, whether it's save up to do media projects if I'm super into theater, or in the case of, social work, social justice, like if I could put myself in a position where I am able to invest more in causes, organizations, projects, whatever that I believe in, donate, that's where like the business side to me was actually really more versatile because it would give me options. So that's really like on a more serious level, like that was the evolution of the decision too, was like, yes, I want to make money, but it's like, what does that money do? It unlocks the ability to do more. And so, if that doing more is art, if that doing more is social work, that's what, looking at the lens of everything as a business or entrepreneurially would lead to doing more in either of those arenas. So definitely don't regret the decision. And I also felt like it put me in a place where I was already starting to think about what my future would look like anyway if I did want to start a business, because it always captivated me. Like it always interested me way more than the idea of like becoming an intern somewhere and then like moving up the ladder and working 5, 10, 15 years to get to the top. Not that there's any shade with that.
Yeah.
There's going to be a chapter in my life maybe where that is the case. But I also saw that there was a real opportunity to just go for it if I believed in something enough, and also asked for help, along the way, and always accepted my perspective in life as a student all along the way. I always look at everything as being a student, which is also why I love boxing and kickboxing, martial arts, whatever, is because it's kind of like golf, like any sport really, but it's just like you'll never be perfect at it.
Yeah.
Like the idea of like you could always improve something. I'm into that. So.
Yeah. That's I don't know. That's the weird thing with sports, that if you can find the thing that you love, like the activity that you love, it becomes a lifelong journey of just being like, I'm never going to perfect this. I'm only going to become more proficient at it. And it then turns into that legacy thing where it's like, if you're lucky and if you truly get to a certain skill level, you can pass that off to someone else and their journey starts that much quicker.
Yeah.
So like, it's one, dope that you do this thing that there wasn't truly products for. But more so, it's dope that you did it organically. That it wasn't like, yeah, we just got to sit up here and fill this bubble because if we don't, we're going to look bad. Or, yo, like the market share in this is X, Y, and Z. We don't need to put enough R&D into it. We just need to do the minimum. It's like, yo, you're fully doing this because you're truly investing in it. And now I understand why your social media is so good with your theater background and the performance and the skill that it takes. You're like, yo, I got this.
That's why my face is on the "How can I help you?"
Yo,
put on the camera, and I'm ready to go.
Oh,
I don't need
what?
She's
When did you add that?
She's her own Alexis.
I was saying earlier that
who's
like
Alexis?
you could be here or in Dubai or Canada, and your girls can help you.
Oh, because you're playing the show also?
Am I playing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We're like, this is like Inception.
Oh, it's
like
Yeah, you have the show playing probably.
multiple levels.
The stream.
it's it's horrible, but it's okay.
I love Inception. This is actually the greatest movie of all time.
You can't say that when you've seen only 3 movies.
I've seen 7.
He's like, yo, I've
Get it
seen
right?
Inception,
Inception.
Pee-wee's Great Adventure,
Never seen
it, and Boys in the Hood.
I've seen
Those
that.
are the 3 movies you've seen.
But it's like if you're like window shopping and you're like, oh, I don't need to go in that store.
No, that's called a trailer.
Yeah, that's
not a movie.
Yeah, no, that's So like, I'll see the trailer. I'm like, I don't need to see that.
Movies are trailers of life.
You know, I was thinking about this the other day, because a few weeks ago I had the Rona, and
She did.
I did. I wanted to celebrate his birthday, but I was like,
She got it, and she was
I
like-
can't gift you the Rona.
He might have it
Yeah.
too. You hear that cough? He might have it too.
No, I just have allergies.
Rona G's.
Rona cheese.
She got COVID just so that she didn't have to celebrate my birthday.
That's
It was crazy.
true.
Can I go back and do that too?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're in the middle of it right now.
Yo, dude.
He's like,
The show is only good if there's at least 5 roastings within me and him, which only makes more sense because he, does coffee.
I was about to make that joke and then you did. So you were
Yeah,
talking
see,
about me.
I told you, I
You were
know
talking
the
about
corny
my
jokes,
jokes.
so I beat you to your
Got
corny
it.
joke. I'm just doing it now.
Got it. Okay.
You know my superpowers.
You never told a corny joke in your life.
Dude,
Organically.
I'm a nerd. Look what's up. My life is a corny joke.
Yeah. See, you talking about my jokes? Shoot.
Yeah, but your jokes are dad jokes and you're not a dad.
Yeah, I want to be.
Oh, wow.
So I'm practicing.
I'm learning that this is a loaded show.
Dude,
I feel like
Hold on, you know this.
Yeah, I do, but
Yeah.
the things that are coming out today, I feel like
because the thing is
I'm your
like
therapist. For the day.
truly everyone thinks that me and Ian are the best of best friends, and what we truly are two
okay,
neighbors
right.
that secretly hate each other. But then,
Why does he say these things?
Yeah.
but then
I know.
But then we have to come together to fight the other neighbors and the other crazy people in the neighborhood.
So it's a alliance of necessity.
Yes, that's what it is.
Great. I'm
He
glad.
he provides me the drugs I need in the morning to wake up.
That's not the
I
thing that
provide
we
him with
talking about
money,
this
and
neighborhood.
then he's Commissioner Gordon while I'm Batman actually doing all the work.
Batman takes drugs?
Yo, caffeine, bro.
Oh. But then you
He's
said
like,
Commissioner
wait,
Gordon,
wait.
so I thought this was like going back to all of that.
Hey, dude, do I ever make any sense?
Man.
Exactly.
You know
Let's
what?
just keep going with the show,
This is
bro.
too loaded.
I know. It's like
Man.
we had Jesus' HR review earlier. Now we're releasing some tension in this alliance of necessity.
Dude, I have a face that just lets people let out jokes and their angst and their whatever.
Or their animosity.
Their
towards
animosity.
you.
They can just, people easily let it out to me, but I have no fear of conflict. So I'm just like, yo, bring this on. Let's go. How far do you want to go with
That's
this?
why you wanted me on this show, was to either
Well,
referee or jump in.
I will say, when we were outside talking,
I will say.
before you walked in, I was like, yeah, the show's a little unfiltered, but I was like, you can navigate it as you will. And now today's a loaded
Today's
burrito
a really
episode.
loaded day,
So-
Jesus.
so-
Jesus is like, I didn't expect it to
So
go this
loaded baked potato.
Hey, man, sometimes, you gotta
way.
have
Cheese and bacon.
Cheese and bacon. All right.
Green onions.
Favorite food item ever? Go.
Vietnamese food. Anything Vietnamese food. Real talk. Yeah.
Why are you sitting up here throwing your hands like that?
Jesus knows
Can we
what's
go
up.
to a
Because
normal
I'm-
breakfast once in the times that we ever hang out?
What do you mean? What?
Yo, bro, you always take me to some fancy place where it's
Although
like,
I will say, like, separate from like traditional Vietnamese food, the Mata breakfast sandwich. Shout out to Richard and
How do you-
Sophia, because that
The joint is
everything that they do at Mata is like totally my childhood. Because I, as a Vietnamese American, I was born in the U.S. too, so like the flavors that they do, along with like the Americana of like the fast food
I'll
plays.
see you later, bro.
That was our childhood.
how is he
right there.
leaving?
Wait, yeah.
He's got the one job he
we-
can't leave.
Maybe he put us in the middle.
I hope
We
he,
lost-
hopefully he
We
does.
lost our showrunner.
Yeah. He's the
He was
showrunner
like,
brand.
Remember what I
I'm
told
over
you
this.
earlier? Like, this.
It's like, I'm over this. I told you that HR review was loaded. That's why he was like, I'm out.
You know what? I would give up on
I'm docking
life,
your
but
pay.
it's too hard.
You give up on life, but it's too hard. It's too hard to give up.
Oh,
That's what I say. Why do you say these things? You gotta say positive things. You'd be like, man, I'm
Oh.
happy.
No,
no, that's
have
not,
the
it's
oppor-
okay. We can feel it all.
this
Oh,
this
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
everyone. I guess I got to do it here. Everyone thinks this. I always do this. I thought that this was you. This is me. You are truly Spike Lee. I'm just living through a Spike Lee joint, and I'm just the dude sitting in the fire with the cup saying it's all gonna be fine.
No, sometimes I'm that guy.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Like I got a meeting at 10 o'clock. It's about to be one of those.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But for the most part,
No press conference.
that was
No
just-
Photoshop.
That was
press
just a
conference.
Photoshop. You know why it looked like that?
Mm-hmm.
There was a tent because there was like some news stations or whatever. There was a tent, and everybody was under the tent, but I got there late, so I was behind the tent.
So
So it
depth
was
of
like
field
natural
was
light.
up.
Yeah, it was natural light that was on me, but under the tent they had like lights.
Mhm.
Yeah, like studio lights. So for me, like on me, it was just like natural light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
But but when I looked at it, I was like, was I there? And there was like
It
2
was like
minutes.
a Khloe Kardashian post where she posts her kids in the pictures that they weren't actually at.
She does that?
Oh yeah, her kid. They took their kids to Disneyland. It's like, oh, blah blah blah's first time to Disneyland, and then everyone brought up photos of like, yo, you posted last year, literally at this time last year, pictures of your kids at Disneyland with their nieces and nephews, and like, yeah, those are photoshopped. It's like, why did you Photoshop your kids being there? It's like, I didn't want them to feel left out, but they were left out. They didn't go.
That'd be messed up if you're a kid later on. You're like, wait a minute, hold on, I didn't go to that.
I'm gonna say this, and I just want you to
Alternate
confirm
facts.
this.
Alternate facts.
Is he Jerry Seinfeld and I'm your Kramer?
I've never
Oh,
seen
maybe.
Seinfeld.
Oh, dude, thank God. Feel blessed. I have
I've seen like 6 episodes.
I have a white partner, and she made me watch that show. Like I had a group of friends. They were all white. They're like, Seinfeld's the greatest show ever. You got to watch Seinfeld. Seinfeld's awesome. And I'm like, I'm black. We watched Martin, Living Single, any of these other shows. We don't watch.
My show was Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Really?
Yeah.
Premium
That was like
television.
one of my
Okay.
favorite shows of all time. Sister,
Mm-hmm.
Family Matters.
Yo, don't say it. Just shut up. I know what you're gonna say.
Oh, what?
I was gonna say this is premium television.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something
I was
about like, yeah, you're Carl Winslow. You the cop. Of course you love that show.
Oh,
My name's Ian Williams. I sell beans.
I'm happy that those are the things that goes through his heart though. That he's the cop.
Huh? Yeah. All right. Anyway, so then when you graduated with the
We'll talk about this
business,
later.
It's okay. We talked earlier about my career being non-linear, and this conversation is
This
super
show is non-linear.
Non-linear.
Never.
I'm always ready.
So, anyways, yes, going back to you because I'm supposed to be interviewing you.
I'm just chilling.
Dude, this is great. This is probably better than our other secret episode that never got aired of the homies from Dallas.
From Houston?
Houston.
Man, what the Dallas and Houston's not the same.
It's not the same, but it's in the same reach. See?
I say that as a lover of the city of Houston and a staunch hater of the city of Dallas. So that I've actually never even been to Dallas.
You love the Houston Astros, you hate the Cowboys.
Two different sports, but yes.
Yes,
But I don't love the Astros. I just love the people in Houston. I hate the Cowboys.
Okay. So
Cowboys suck.
So you went for your business degree thinking, hey, I can start doing these other things that allow me to do the things I actually love. So you graduate.
And then what? Yeah.
No, because the question was, and I don't know if you remember.
Well,
what did you do before?
Yeah, what I do, but yeah. Well, so I think what did I do? Gosh,
we went on a tangent for like 45 minutes,
yeah.
and now we're just coming back around.
Well, so I started working with a social media agency that I was interning with while I was in college, and it was awesome because it was my first experience working for a smaller company. The company at the time was maybe 8 people, and then when I graduated, the company grew to double that. It was like 15, 16 people. And so just being a part of a small group, small company, growing like that, seeing what's possible, again, like having the privilege and access to like be the right hand directly to my bosses, the CEO, the VPs. It was a really transformative experience in terms of learning about leadership and just having that direct access. It was like mentoring and coaching every day versus being in a giant corporation, being assigned
just a cog
executive
in the system.
mentor. Yeah. It's like I literally had a group of executive mentors who I could learn from every single day. And that was really amazing. And eventually I realized I wanted to get more direct hands-on experience with startups. And in town, there's actually a fund called Portland Seed Fund that invests in startups. At the time, they invested in technology startups. And I was like, there's no better way than just straight up exposure. And so I had gone to this networking event. I pitched one of the managing directors. Her name's Angela Jackson. I pitched to her like that I wanted to work for them. They didn't have a role. I just was like, hey, do y'all need help? I'm really interested. Like, put me in. And she was like, okay, bet. Like, let's stay in touch. And sure enough, eventually her and her colleague, Jim Houston, they were like, yeah, we do need a fund associate who helps us handle kind of everything. So I took that opportunity immediately because I wanted that like fire hose exposure of what is it like to be what it's like to be a startup founder. Yeah. And there was no better way than sitting in a room with people who invest and seeing founders pitch day in and day out and learning what that whole experience is like on both sides. And then eventually that was when I started working on Society 9 on nights and weekends because I was training in kickboxing and Krav Maga. Was really in love with it.
Krav Maga?
Yeah, that was my original background. I got my brown belt in 2013.
All right, cool.
I got to go to this meeting.
Bye. See you. See you and your chopsticks later.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? We'll chop it up. We'll do later.
I feel like you should have like a little mini piano since you have the chopsticks and you only play chopsticks on it and you just go around about your day.
That's a good idea. I'm gonna get a little.
Is that my second good idea that you're gonna like that you're gonna hate later on in life?
The one that you like blow into those pianos.
Oh, recorder. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
See you.
You're now gonna have to fix this one. All right.
Oh, okay. Do I need to scoot over?
You might be good.
Skosh. Move over, Skosh. Oh no, we're good. Okay.
He's just gonna get you back in the middle of it and make sure you're in front of that.
Shout out to Jesus.
I like that you're like so quiet. Like you can talk.
I know.
Just don't talk a lot.
Except for today, that HR review. But yeah, so I started working on Society 9 nights and weekends, and eventually, I realized I wanted to break off on my own. But before I could break off on my own, I needed more experience working with a sports brand. And one of my classmates worked for an agency that built retail stores for Nike. So like they were contracted by Nike corporate to do retail fixture programming. So store design, the fixture design, all that kind of stuff. And she was like, we have so much work to do. We need another account manager, and you can tag team with me on some of these accounts. So I was like, great. So I told Angela and Jim, said, hey, I got to leave the nest. I got this. And what I loved was I could be very candid with them. I was like, I'm working on this idea. I can't pursue it more seriously until I get some like sports brand experience and some exposure on what the industry is really like. Yeah. So they're like, go spread your wings, girl. So I worked with my, old classmate at this vendor agency. And during that time too, I was working on Society 9 nights and weekends. And eventually when I finished my last Nike project, which I believe was like a Nike golf project, I quit my job August 2014. Wow. And I had saved up some money so I could quit, but then I also sold all of my shit. I mean, literally the only thing, because my lease was ending November. And I was like, I have no idea. Like, I can't sign another lease. Like, I need to reduce my liabilities as much as possible. So I sold all my shit. The only thing I had left was stuff that could fit in my car. So I had like storage bins that I could make sure actually fit in my Honda. And then I had my mattress, which I knew I was going to eventually get rid of too. And I kind of went nomadic I was also in a relationship at that time. That's a conversation I don't want to get into. But I moved in.
Remember that dude named Dale?
And so, shout out to that ex, because I did have a living situation. But the point is that I was very lucky because I had friends and family who, quote unquote, invested in me by being like, look, like, chase your dream. If the biggest investment we can give you is, a bed to sleep in, go for it. Yeah. And, I went at the beginning of this, I talked about like, it takes a village, and like, I am not one to say, or to not say ever, that the village didn't build me. The village built me. And so, now I look back on my time in all of those jobs, and I think about how all that access and privilege was also rooted in my education. The fact that I was able to go to college, that is such a significant financial, socioeconomic privilege, and that led to so many of these doors opening. And don't get me wrong, your girl hustled, but like, we got to talk about how doors open. And I figured out that game.
But while recognizing that doors open, and I'm gonna be an asshole and say some things, and you can disagree with them if you like, but I'm gonna say them. One, it's a thing of the culture that you are a part of, that it is always a giving of being like, thank you to these people for what I was able to do. Mm-hmm. You were able to do this. Do you understand that? How amazing that you are, that you once again made a product in a niche market that needed to be represented, that was underrepresented, underutilized, underexpected. You did that. You did that within.
Thanks, Ronan.
Within being like, hey, first off, your degree was in business, but your heart was set on being within theater,
social work.
And social work. And that you somehow then turn that into going through these other projects in life and being like, yo, my extracurricular activity, the thing that brings me joy, my lifelong journey of physical activities, of a activity, is now the thing that I am going to focus my attention on, to sit up here and make the betterment of other people, especially people that are underutilized within this thing, which is boxing for women. Do you realize how dope that is?
That's a real, that chain you just built was great. I wouldn't have been able to map that myself. So thanks, Ronan.
No, I'm just saying, like, yo, it's.
Well, you know what's interesting? So, like, speaking of the map that the perfect elaborate map that you just put together, when I think back, even when I was a theater geek in high school, I went to a public school, but it was a public school that had, your classic classist, racist problems too, socioeconomic challenges, and
I'm just listening to this greatness, but also looking at this greatness that you made. Just keep going.
I ended up doing theater for a mix of reasons. One was couldn't afford to do sports because the public school system in Olympia started requiring, quote, pay to play. So it used to be that you could just join any sports team at the school. I mean, of course, there's club sports, which you did have to pay an arm and a leg for, but they started instituting pay to play. And my family was like, are you planning on being a rock star Division I athlete? No, don't do sports because we can't afford it. So there was that. And then on the other side of it, like, I kind of got shoved into theater because it was free.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, well, give me something to do. And I happened to grow to love it. But, I think the sheer fact that my origin story, if you will, started with the fact that my family couldn't afford to play the public school sports anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't, quote, in our financial interests to do so. And then now to have created a business in sport to address the also irony of people, specifically women, not having options for equipment to do the dang thing. Like, it's a very full circle map moment you just created, Ronan. So thanks.
So, quick question. When did your love affair with combat sports start? Because you keep throwing another layer that I didn't know. So I'm just like, oh yeah, Krav Maga, kickboxing, not just boxing, kickboxing. So what is your pedigree of combat sports?
Well, so when I graduated in 2011, I needed to find like some sort of fitness thing to do. I mean, I was a recreational runner in college, but I wasn't passionate about any sport or anything. I didn't really know what I wanted to do in that regard.
Yeah.
And so when I graduated, I was really curious about Krav Maga because I had gone on a sponsored school trip to Israel, which I am very grateful for. It was an incredible experience. Yeah, I've been to Israel. It's a pretty, politics aside, just speaking about the land that is Israel and Palestine, because I've also been in a Palestinian territory as well. It's just a beautiful country with a mix of very beautiful people, the mix of cultures and histories and the complexity. That's a whole thing I could geek out on. But in any case,
we can do multiple episodes. I mean, at this point, I just feel like you should just be a regular on the show. Like,
that's so kind of, well, anytime, happy to come by. But it was in Israel that I had learned what Krav Maga even is. So for those of you who don't know, it's a Israeli self-defense martial art. It's an incorporation of a lot of different hand-to-hand combat systems, whether it's a mix of like wrestling and judo, because there's throwing and wrestling involved, but then there's also striking.
Your favorite movie has it in it.
Exactly. Actually, that's a good point. A lot of action movies that folks have seen, I guarantee you those actors probably went through Krav Maga training because of the fact that it is rooted in hand-to-hand combat. And so, so learning about it, I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And I had learned about it in the context of self-defense and that it would be good self-defense for women. So that kind of interested me more. So when I came back from that trip, I literally Googled Krav Maga in Portland, went to my first class, and when I threw my first punch, it was like a spiritual awakening. Because as a woman, I have been raised and conditioned to believe that, and I'm a cis hetero woman, so this is speaking from my father's point of view. He was like, find a nice man to take care of you, protect you, and like you're kind of imbued with that traditionalism, right? And I know that from my dad's perspective, it's coming from a place of care, but it's also rooted in like misogyny and like other patriarchal misogyny and blah blah blah. So for me, like throwing that punch, I was like, whoa.
Are you saying that you somehow lived this fucked up Mulan storyline? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, aren't all Disney movies and whatever else like rooted in some mix of fucked up
childhood?
Yeah. That newsflash, that's all Disney and Marvel, and anything else is like
it's not good.
Generational traumas passed down every single decade, every single generation.
Have you realized the Disney theory? Just really quick, a random tangent. That all of those movies end up with either parents dying or in a situation where the parents are in some kind of way. Every single Disney movie.
I mean, when I watched Shang-Chi, that was like pretty loaded for me. Like,
Well, I'm just saying, like, think of any of the Disney princess movies.
yeah. No, for sure. Oh yeah, like as I got older, as I matured, as I learned more about a lot of intersectional issues across gender, race, ethnicity, religion, I mean, it all starts to make more sense.
P.S. I think that you could have like a fantastic career as a stunt woman, and I don't know if this is like a thing that you're like waiting for someone to tell you so you can get into.
I mean, there's a reason why, like, to be honest, like, I haven't sparred in a long time just because I'm like, I don't want to risk concussion as I get older. Like, because I've had friends who've go to sparring and then they get a low-key concussion from training, and then I'm like, I think I'm just going to do my classes, punch the bag, punch some mitts, and, like, it still feels amazing and it's empowering even just maintaining the practice because, you know, going back to what I said about that first punch being a spiritual awakening or whatever, is like, a lot of that had to do with seeing me, my body, my size, like being able to do that. And then as I continued to progress in my skills in Krav Maga and I got more advanced, I was like, holy shit, I can do all this? Like my little 4'11", you know, petite self. Because again, I always assumed that I'm small and I can't protect myself or I can't do.
What are you talking about?
This is weird.
You just look like you could fuck somebody up.
But this is like spiritual training as much as it is physical training. Like I don't walk around trying to be an aggressor, but I definitely like. I look at it as like training a mental muscle as it is a physical muscle. So like in the case of like if I were to be provoked, part of it isn't, oh, I'm literally gonna like break you. It's actually more of like training me to just be ready to defend. And I think as women in particular, it's so important to have that muscle memory, that fight or flight response, right? And it's like, oh, if you're triggered, it's like, oh, I'm hella ready to fight. And that's a muscle spiritual muscle, mental muscle that you have to train.
See, I told you.
Special guest.
Danny DeVito just came up to the door just being like,
Special
yo,
guest.
I want to get in on the grip. No, well, once again, I'm going to say this.
Liked by E Weezy, shout out.
Get it in. Can I get more performance stuff on your IG and maybe a post not every 365 days? I'm just saying, if you just give me a once a week of you just hitting the bag or something.
Come with me every Wednesday to Ironside Training. Shout out Coach Jordan Gunther on Target Training PDX. Come hit mitts with us.
All right, so I've been in downtown Chinatown for a long time, and I've prided myself off of one thing that I did. Not any of the accomplishments or things like that. I've never thrown a punch down here. Down here. Not in life. Down here. You can get that smoke. Don't worry. And this is twofold to this situation. I'm a choker. Hey.
Whoa! Speaking of the episode today, getting real dark.
No. I'm the type of person that I'm very. I'm like, I'm gonna get you in a headlock. I'm gonna like disarm you.
You heard it here first, folks.
They've heard it for years. But no, like
I have a special set of skills.
Yeah, I have a special set of skills. I'm gonna choke you out. I'm gonna get you in a headlock, and then I'm gonna whisper in your ear, "Are we done yet? We good? We good?" Or if it's not a headlock and it's the full on, I then go nuts and I'm like, "Do you know who the fuck I am?" And I go full training day mode. That to say, I'm afraid if I learn how to use these properly, that it's gonna be bad, and that's also why I don't want to do jujitsu, because I'm already just I'm the type of person that I take on a lot of it, and I'm like, hey, you can talk shit to me, you can do shit to me, it's all good, I'll take it. You can call me the N-word, whatever else. Don't do that. Once again, you'll get the smoke. I'm just saying. Like I can take on a certain amount of it, and then it's like then I snap.
Yeah.
But vice versa, you do something to one of my friends or someone I see around me or anything, you can even do it to my worst enemy. Like if you was at them, I'm
Stinkmonger.
instant. I'm instant. It's just like no filter. All right,
Yeah.
cool. We're going to jail tonight. Just have to deal with it. All that to say, yeah, I'll go.
You're a ride or die. You're a ride or die homie.
I'll go with you to the boxing, but then I might need some therapy afterwards just to make sure I don't use it.
Well, so even with Krav Maga, like that was actually a therapeutic place for me for the very reason you're talking about, because my family was going through a hard time during that time. So I was 23, 24. And I had a lot of darkness personally. And so on the one hand, the productive side was like, oh, I'm curious about Krav Maga. I want to learn it. On the other side of that, there was some darkness where, like, when I had that first punch, too, not only was it a positive spiritual awakening, it was also one where it was a therapeutic spiritual awakening. Because I realized I had a place to, like, learn, which is productive. Yeah. But it was also, in that learning, it was a safe space for me to release the rage in like a controlled environment. So like, don't get me wrong, it's not like I was wailing out on people, but it was meditative in a weird way, because then it was like, okay, well, you can't go in there just like freaking wail on people, because I'll tell you, there were a lot of students in there who, if they did that, my instructors had no issue being like, you're out. So it actually took some restrained, like the training itself was restrained. As much as we were learning, pushing, there was a lot of training too in restraint. And I think that was a really interesting, I don't know that anyone in Krav Maga would articulate that experience that way, but from my experience, I think that's what now, to your point about like, if someone messes with my friends, my family, oh, it's on. I'm the same way. Yeah. I'm like a pit bull. Like, you mess with the people I love with, like, I will come after you. But when it comes to like,
you said that like I have a certain set of skills. You gave the same intensity.
Well, it's like it's reserved, right? Like it comes only in, if push comes to shove, like I'm not scared to like raise my voice, puff my chest, and be like, not today, motherfucker. Like,
you know what? And
I can say that, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Did you not hear me earlier? What I was saying?
I know, but this isn't my home, so
It is your home now. This is your home now. You found your special place.
Okay,
it's right here.
Great.
That we're leaving after this weekend, because you're the last guest in this building.
Great.
So oh man, there's so much in this, so little time left. All right, so we have to like flash forward, because if we don't, we're not going to be able to get to some of these juicy things that I want to talk to you about. All right, so when you first started, you did the Kickstarter. How long did it like take for it, like it jumped on? Like everybody would like started getting, like, did you fund? Did you meet the?
Yeah. So we raised $60,000 in pre-order revenue. So that allowed us to fund our first purchase order of inventory.
Wow.
But it took, we had to do a couple more prototypes in 2015 to get it right before we got the product in and, shipped out to everyone, which was January 2016. So I would say 2016, 2017 were definitely like throw stuff against the wall, see what sticks in terms of like marketing, how to outreach people, selling. We were mostly online direct to consumer, so meaning people bought directly from our website. Yeah. We did some wholesale with gyms and stuff, but it was still this like really organic community building exercise, because like on the one hand, we could spend a bunch of money on, at the time, Facebook ads and Google ads or whatever. And on the other hand too, so much about trust in this community comes down to literally like shaking hands and blessing babies and breaking bread. And so, I remember in 2016, 17, I would literally go on these things.
Blessing babies?
I mean,
yo, dude,
your girl's got those skills.
Hey, I love it.
But yeah, like we used to do these things called gym tours where I'm not kidding you. I would literally, like I would go to LA, for instance, map out a handful of gyms, and I would hit up every single one and give out free hand wraps or, do a raffle or whatever, and just like take a class or take multiple classes and just build community, build camaraderie, show that like, hey, we live and breathe what we preach, which is like, doesn't matter how skilled you are or aren't, we're all here just as women, just trying to feel really fucking dope about ourselves, and also feeling capable, effective, efficient, empowered. So much of that we don't get to explore in our personal lives for any mix of reasons, whether it's intimidation by or pressure from culture and society to be more quiet, more demure, more composed, and so
is it not crazy to go through within the stereotypes of being an Asian woman and then to be like, I own a boxing, like
I still get it to this day. Like when people who have never met me meet me for the first time, they're like,
you mean when you're swiping right and then they come out and they're like yo homie, I can mess you
yeah,
up.
I mean, yeah. If we want to go there, dating was hard. Was because it's not needed anymore because I have a partner. Shout out Patrick. But like I think dating was really hard too. But personal and professional, right? It was hard because I think people wanted to have preconceived notions of who I was or wasn't based on either what they found on the internet or what they perceive me to be once they like get to know me and find out what it is that I do. And it's like, I'm just Lynn. I was Lynn before this. I'm Lynn after it. This is something I happen to do. And yeah, like in the journey of all this, whether it was kickboxing, Krav Maga, Society 9, whatever, yeah, like it certainly informed and morphed and impacted my personal evolution. But it's just one facet of multiple facets of who I am. So like going back to what we were talking about earlier about like cutting folks who are messing with our friends and family, it's like, yeah, that's a very reserved place. It's not like I whip that out every day like, oh, I'm ready, I will be ready if I'm called upon.
If you want that smoke, Lynn will give it to you.
If you want that smoke. But what it's given me as a gift though, for real, is like I'm really not intimidated by much. So if it's a business meeting or just an opportunity or an interview somewhere, like I'm not nervous because it's like that's what the power of boxing and kickboxing in general, just combat sports, that's the gift that it's given me as a woman, is like I am broad-shouldered, my chin's higher, and it gives me a calm but strengthened place to walk the world with.
There's been recently, I think, an influx, at least in media, of, and I'm going to forget homegirl's name, and I'm going to shoot myself for forgetting it, of the Asian woman stereotype being destroyed and being rebuilt into this, like, place of, oh, my God, what, it's, she had the huge special on Netflix.
Was that Ali Wong, the comedian?
Yes,
or
the comedian. Is
with
that
the big glasses?
Yes.
That's I think if we're talking about the same person, it's Ali Wong.
But I'm just saying, like, the thing that I made comparison to. What are you saying? You pointed to something.
Confirming.
Yes. All right.
Okay.
You can, once again, you can speak. It's okay. I feel like this is like one of those
Since you have a
situations. Like,
mic.
do you beat your child? Why is your child afraid to talk?
Yeah, it's like you have a mic.
I definitely have a mic.
You are allowed to speak.
Thank you for the permission.
I just say that in the sense of like, because the traditional like horrible stereotypes of being like, yo, the quiet demeanor, very docile, of being like making a whole entire group and then like fetishizing that to a certain extent, to them being like looking at certain things as of recently. So many people in the media space within like, Asian women that have just destroyed that. It's like, that's not who we are. We can be loud, we can be profound, we can
fight.
We can fight, like, but just more like we, in the space of women, we are some of the ones that can hang with the boys better than any of the rest of them. And I say that in the sense of like Ali Wong, there's a list of comedians that have come out of that space, and it's like, you wouldn't traditionally think of that in the same way you wouldn't be like, hey, Asian woman boxer. This is a thing. But you took it, like, once again, you took it to another degree. You're like, business owner. Get it right. Like, you've now taken on this profession with it. Like, what? Like, I get the storyline of this happening. Like, I truly get it. I understand it. But it's still like, it's jarring to me in the way of how you carry it, I guess. Like,
well, I think I have a few thoughts about that.
Yeah.
I think the historical stereotype that we're demure and docile and all that stuff, that comes from a like most things, comes from a super racist place.
Yes.
You know, it comes from, this is a topic for a whole nother episode, but, you know, I can speak, I mean, just like as a Vietnamese woman, okay? Like, I think about things as a theater geek even. So, like, a musical like Miss Saigon, so problematic on so many levels. Now, when I first saw it in high school, on the one hand, I mean, the music itself is beautiful.
yeah.
The story and the lyrics, though, are fucking horrific. They're like...
Songs of the South.
Well, and for my parents, you know, because I saw it with them when it toured and it like came to Seattle, and for them, like, they thought it was beautiful, and you know, some of the scenes were traumatic, like the helicopter scene and all that stuff, and they were like crying and stuff, and I felt horrible. They were happy to see it, but in any case, for me though, as I grew to understand like some of the problematic tropes that have been perpetuated in media about Asian women, it explains a lot about why we're at where we're at. And it's never been right. It's not right. It's even more horrific that it's more prolific now. The question I always ask myself as someone who exists in this country and in this community, this culture, is like, it's always been there. It's just, it's just like how the Black community has suffered from, you know, police directed violence or brutality or any number of other social injustices, and overt racism. Like, y'all knew those things were happening. It's just now it's televised. And that's kind of how I feel about violence against not just AAPI, but just speaking in the context of this conversation, violence against Asian women. Like, it's been there. Go back to, example, Miss Saigon. I mean, and that's just one cultural example. There's countless others. Any number of movies that have to do with the Vietnam War, same thing. Mm-hmm. If there's Vietnamese female characters, they tend to be, you know, brothel workers.
Yep.
Working with American soldiers. And so, like, you have to ask, and I know that you have your Grinds My Beans segment. I don't want to jump the gun here.
Hey, yo, you could hey, tell us what's grinding your beans. Go, hey, yo, this next segment, grind your beans. Lynn, give it.
It's new.
But you do have to.
I have to look there.
Yeah.
Okay. What grinds my beans, amongst many things, because your girl's bitter about things too, is nuance. It's not just, there's a lot of violence against AAPI and Asian women. It's also like, it's not enough to just say that. It's like, we need to understand how deep rooted this all is. Like, the roots are rotten. And you have to understand how the roots are rotten to understand why these things are happening. And for me, like, you know, before we started the show, we had talked about Richard's comment about performative allyship for, you know, stop AAPI hate and stuff. Just to echo off of what he said, you know, like, for me, I think what I get frustrated by is outrage isn't enough. To me, I think outrage is important, but I would like to see people internalize that more, because outrage is what leads to posting it really quickly on Instagram, being like, this is horrible. What would impress me more, actually, is don't post that. It would impress me more if we had a conversation. You're like, actually, I looked that up. I realize this shit's been going on a while. It's like, yeah, you're right. And that, to me, as an Asian woman, as a Vietnamese woman, is much more powerful. If we're to really talk about allyship, it's people who've actually internalized and done the work to just, y'all are on your phones all the time. Google that shit. Google that shit. Stop asking me why this is so outrageous it's happening now. Google that shit, you know?
I'm going to give a double-edged sword to that.
That's true, because then we're talking about a period of misinformation. So
the misinformation, and all right, so there's a thing that's like, it's not my job to make you understand.
Right.
And I am of the embodiment of, it is my job to lead you to a place of understanding. I'm not supposed to take you on the whole entire journey to get
That's
there.
right.
Like,
That's
so
right.
there's a thing that's like, yo, like the emotional labor of this is too much. It's not on me to sit up here and cure the world. But I'm like, but it is to tell you sometimes that people are sick. And maybe it's not being like, hey, man, you got the virus. You got to go over there. I can't be around you. Sometimes it's like, hey, yo, you maybe need to go to the doctors and get this checked out within yourself, just within these misconceptions of whatever else you think about society. And I only say that in the sense of like, I've had people tell me like, hey, this is wrong. And I'm like, all right, how can I do better? And they're like, you need to pay me to tell you. This is emotional labor. I need to be paid for doing X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, so you want people to stop treating you a certain way, but you want to profit to do so? I'm like, I get that in the sense of going around doing TED Talks and X, Y, and Z, but on a person-to-person level, I don't think that's always the way to do it. It's not always, hey, Starbucks had a racist moment. Now we need to sit up here and hire me to come be a racial therapist, whatever, for Starbucks. So I think it's.
But this is the conversation you and I are
nuance.
having. Nuance,
Yeah.
exactly. And I think we have to have more space for that. Like, I think there's a lot of, how do I say this? I'm trying to be both honest as well as like politically correct at the same time.
Dude, fuck being politically correct.
Well,
Can we just be blunt sometimes?
Well, I just want to be thoughtful because nuance, right? It's like that's what I've learned observing, especially the last 2.5 going on 3 years now, especially is that like you say one thing and I mean our conversation has even been a perfect example of that, which is we say one thing and then
Someone misconstrues it.
Yeah, and it can go a lot of different ways, and that's okay. I think that's what I want to say more than anything is like that's okay that we're weaving into the complexities of all this stuff because that allows us to come to our own individual place of understanding and scope and navigation of how we move and interact with other people. And the more people you interact with, then it begets on that, and then you evolve more. So I guess I say all that because I want to celebrate that nuance. I think that's so important. I crave that more than just celebrating, or not celebrating, but like expressing outrage. And I can only speak from my experience. That's
Which
the other
is one hell of an experience.
And yours too,
No. Yours is one hell of an experience, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna stop you to say this.
Shut up! Let me say this.
I
got feelings.
I know someone's gonna be like, watch him try to mansplain this, but all I'm gonna say is, and I was trying to allude to this earlier, and I wasn't able to articulate it in the right way, so I want to make sure I can articulate it now. You're part of a renaissance for not only women within stuff, but within Asian women within this, and I just want you to know it's like fucking amazing. Like
Thanks.
I don't know if you really get that. Like I was trying to say those individuals because there's for a long history there hasn't been enough within that demographic and segment to be like, here's the role models for you. Here are the X amount of like notable people within American history from this demographic that are incredible. Like you're one of them. Like really, I just hope you realize that in the sense of like one, not just as being a business owner and finding success in it, but doing it from the ground up, doing it not only for solely your demographic in the sense of your race, but also doing it in the sense of it being for women in general and taking on a thing of being like, yo, I am literally the gloves that are made for you aren't made for you. But the thing is, like, you don't only do gloves.
We do footwear and stuff too, and I feel, to me, it was never just about I want to make a good glove for women. That was the level 1 of it, but the level 2, 3, 4 was also challenging image and convention. Like if you go to our
They're not pink.
Well, if you even just like go to our homepage.
Yes.
Yeah, just go on our
Don't you
homepage.
love that no one puts a homepage button? Everyone knows to go on the logo.
Click, shout out Alex Grant in this dope video that she was in with us. But I think just challenging conventional notion too of just what women of all ethnicities, gender identities. That's the other thing. We're, shout out to the queer femmes out there too, or the femme gender non-conforming folks, like, and the trans women. It's just really important to celebrate what womanhood means to so many people. I think before it was so easy to put there's a lot of people who still put things in binary, but when I think about my personal evolution with womanhood, it's like, dang, like, we're capable of so much dope shit. Like, we are capable of being graceful, feminine, nurturing, motherly, having those energies. And then on the flip side of that spectrum, which goes back to that personal spiritual awakening I had personally, it's like, wow, I threw this punch and like now I'm feeling rage. I'm feeling a sense of protectionism. I'm feeling like I'm going to protect me, protect my
Open
home.
The floodgates.
Yeah. And like, of course that makes sense, because from a human experience standpoint, like biologically, it makes sense that we want to protect. So when you punch something, it's not just, oh, I'm a brute. It's like, no, that's part of the human experience.
Yeah.
So for me, that was the unlocking. And that goes deeper than just gloves. The gloves is just the vehicle to help someone transcend into that spiritual space. So, yeah, we make gloves. So if people ask, we make gloves. But it's like, to me, I look at the gloves as so much more. It's a gateway.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, yeah. You kick ass. This is it. Well, damn, that was a cold ass stare at the end.
Yeah. Don't mess.
Even I would even just go to like, just how you did this overall. I just am impressed by. I just can't emphasize that enough, and I know that I keep repeating it, but I just can't literally emphasize it enough. But so for the future endeavors within just you within this, how do I convince you to once again become the stunt coordinator of all my favorite shit? Because you know what? Fast and the Furious, I feel like it needs you. I'm just saying that. Like Vin Diesel getting a little sluggish. I feel like you can help him out.
I mean, shout out to all the instructors out there of all combat sports who are.
How long have you been instructing?
No, I don't teach anymore, but I'm just saying that's who I'm giving my roses to right now.
Yeah.
And that stuff is like, leave it to those experts. Like I'm arguably rusty at this point, only because my chops have been so focused on the business, and that's impacted my own like fitness or movement journey too. But it's also okay. I think that's just part of my personal evolution. And
I love that you call it movement journey.
Yeah, I think it's really important.
I'm just saying, like the words that you put together to describe that are very well executed within what you're trying to convey. Like movement journey is just makes sense.
Yeah, I want people to, because fitness is tricky, because the industry benefits from shaming you and feeling really bad about not being fit enough, healthy enough, whatever.
I'm so happy you brought that up.
And the industry negates to identify and recognize the accesses and privileges that come with the fitness and wellness industry. It's incredibly privileged. It's incredibly homogenous. And I think it's really important that people, especially when you're dealing, I can speak from like the women's industry side, so many women, myself, I'm not immune to this, which is like, we suffer from a lot of like the shame and body image, dysmorphia, disordered eating, whatever. And historically, the fitness industry profits from that shame. So taking control of that narrative and saying, you know what, I'm going to move because it gives me joy. Yeah. It makes me feel powerful. That's why I frame it as a movement journey, because it's not about the gains. That's that baby Hulk energy, like the gains.
Yo.
It's more about like, what, this makes me feel good today. Or like, I'm not feeling that, I'm feeling this. That's way more empowering, because now you're actually allowing your soul and your body to guide you, versus feeling like I'm being pressured to need to do this in order to look good, be strong, whatever. It's like, no, I'm I'm truly listening to me, what
Yeah.
my cells are saying to me. That's different.
Well, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head on something that you just recently said. So I'm just gonna play this for you, and I just want to,
Uh-oh.
see your reaction, because this made me happy as fuck.
Uh-oh. Yeah, all about this. Like,
Just it blew. I was like, you kind of touched on it earlier too, and just right here where you were like, hey, it doesn't. We had someone that was in a wheelchair that was able to sit up here and do this, and was still able to be. We just moved the bags and everything else, and they can join in. It's that fear of like, hey, this isn't for me, and I in yours, it's like women's boxing is not a thing that everyone instantly gravitates to. Being a black dude that snowboards, not an instant
Sure.
gravitational, and it's that thing that I hate that we get pigeonholed into these certain things that we're supposed to be doing. That you like have to fight with. Like, I know that your parents didn't want you to do the traditional sports because of the money. What sport were you trying to go in at that point? Was it a combat sport, or was it?
no, I mean, when I say I became a theater geek, I mean, that was all my time.
Yeah.
Like I really didn't know what my quote fitness journey or sport journey was really going to look like as the years went on. So really falling into Krav Maga was, I would say it was a little bit of a freak accident, because it's not like there was something that really drove me to it. It was curiosity.
Yeah.
And I also think that's so important about fitness, is like being curious about what your body is capable of doing. I mean, just even that video that you played of that individual doing those beautiful dives. I mean, we as a society, we shame people a lot on their physical capabilities or what their health is supposed to be or look like, when we forget that there's also a lot of genetic markers that keep people from looking what is conventionally supposed to be fit. I know people who aren't necessarily stereotyped or deemed to be, quote, conventionally fit because they happen to be physically bigger.
Yeah.
More thicker, more stout, whatever. But it's like they're not the conventional image of what being fit looks like. But they'll do 3 triathlons. I haven't fucking done a triathlon, right? And I would be considered conventionally fit from just how I present. And those kinds of injustices are what keeps people from being able to explore their greatest self. So that's the other irony. It's like, for those people who are shamed for their bodies, looking a certain way, it keeps them from getting into the industry. So if the industry's whole thing is to make money, well, you're shaming those people from even getting in. So you're doing the industry a disservice, and vice versa. That's just straight up discrimination and injustice by not welcoming them in. So that's why going back to this movement journey statement or phrase, right? It's like, I'm so pro movement journey. Like, fuck what everyone else is saying. Really listen to your body. Do it because you love it. And anyone else, especially these freaking trolls on the internet or whatever, who are like, you're promoting obesity. It's like, you know what? No, actually, you know what's promoting obesity? It's the freaking lobbyists and the interest groups who are pushing the conventional image of what fit is supposed to look like, or pushing you to eat or be a certain way with your diet or whatever. It's like, let people be.
Let people be, and give them enough choices that they can choose to make healthy choices easily. That it isn't a strain to sit up here and make it a healthy choice,
right,
within their lifestyle,
or economically prohibitive, and that's
shout out to Ugly Fruit.
I really hope that there's a new, and that's why I love things like Deadstock Run Club, and I know that there's more movement groups that are coming out like that, which is just saying, hey, just show up as you are. There's going to be other people of different levels and whatever, and just show up and have fun. And I love that. That is the narrative that has to happen more, and I do see it happening more often. There's also still the traditionalists who are very able-bodied and discriminatory towards people from getting in because they stick with that same bullshit of, you can't do this because you're obese or fat or whatever like negativity they want to project out there in shaming someone from getting in. It's like, okay, you do you over there. Like, it's gonna be real lonely because we're all hanging over here and we're having a great fucking time doing it, and we're not projecting our self-hatred like you are by telling us we can't come in.
See, you need to be saying more stuff on social media.
Hurt people. That's what my sister and I always say.
Yo, like I said, you need to be.
That goes to the racists too. Hurt people.
Oh, yeah. Once again, see, the thing is that the Disney princess thing in real life just turns into rednecks. It's like you have a messed up childhood, messed up parents, a wicked witch of the West, or whatever thing happens into your life, to your family. You just become a redneck or racist. That's usually how that shit goes, because it's when people fight so much to look and be normal. That's how you have. It's not just toxic masculinity. It's toxic hypocrisy, whatever you want to call it, where it's like, yo, I have to be this. I have to be this. We have to look this way. We have to, this is the dream. This is the American dream, whatever. And then it's like, oh, fuck, you're not that. Everyone shame that person because they're horrible. Ha ha ha. And then it's like, yo, have you heard of the word innovation? Sometimes the best people, you don't get that geeky kid that sits up here and makes the cell phone, or makes your favorite movie, or makes the superhero that you idolize and embody yourself after. I love so much that people have Superman tattoos, but then don't realize the person that made it. The person that you idolize is made by the person you hate.
Yeah, I mean, nuance. Going back to what grinds my beans, nuance, right? It's like, okay, love this person, revere them, whatever. Just remember that humans are fallible, and like I always, that's why I don't really idolize most people or like celebrities, or your traditional athlete, celebrity, whatever. I don't idolize anyone. I look at everyone as fallible human beings just like me, and we all come from complex, probably somewhat painful places. I mean, you don't have a human experience without pain and joy, or experiencing pain and joy. Yeah. So, like I give both grace as well as a lot of consideration of like, I mean, I think that's why, like, I'll use an example, like the Kanye West, Kim Kardashian, like divorce cultural phenomenon. Okay. It's like, talk about a perfect example of a lot of nuance. It's like, you can revere Kanye as one of the like greatest of all time in music, and also he's doing some fucked up shit, like in public, outright in public, right? And I think acknowledging that nuance is really important, because it's like, you can love the things he does and just remember also some of the stuff he's doing is really messed up. Dude, and we don't talk about that enough.
I choose now, and this is the only way I feel like I'm going to be able to survive, because Black men are getting slaughtered within any kind of celebrity or idolized feel of being like, hey, this is a person that we can be like, I want to model myself to be this person. Every one of them are dropping like flies. And I'm like, I now separate the art from the artist. This thing is allowed to exist separately from them, and we can still enjoy and be a thing that has a place of reverence. With this person, we can disassociate ourselves from and be like, this is fucked up. This person's fucked up. Their actions are fucked up. This is wrong. Because the thing that happens is these things become cultural relevance, and other people and things are taking these away. And sometimes we don't have all the facts about them. And so we'll destroy parts of our culture, parts that are ingrained within us, to punish someone for action. And they can be big and small, different. I know that Kanye's is a difficult one to think about. I know that there's certain exceptions to these rules that I'm sitting up here saying this doesn't go across the board on everything. But I'm like, it'll be a lot easier for me in life if I can separate those things, and then I can still keep my moral values and everything else, because it turns into one of those things that's like, hey, there's people that do great things in our community that end up not being that great of people, that I'm like, hey, I'm not going to sit up here and be like, I'm going to trash the Boys and Girls Club because I find out the founders of it that did something wrong.
Yeah. And it goes back to nuance, right? Every individual and here's the other thing to caveat what you're saying. If someone's like, no, I don't fuck with Kanye anymore, that shit is so messed up, I can't even, that's okay too. That's okay too. I think that's what I wish there was more space for, because like when people choose to write off someone, it's because they truly felt like whatever it is those actions represent or whatever really hurt them. It could be because they had a similar past experience with maybe an abusive partner, and Kanye's actions triggers that, right? So if they're like, no, I can't listen to his music, okay, like that's okay. And I think each and every one of our individual relationships with any of these cultural phenomenons or complicated dynamics, it's still all rooted back into we're all fallible human beings. It literally doesn't matter if you're a 9-digit millionaire or a billionaire. You're still a fallible human being. And so really understanding how to have grace for yourself as well as others and how they process it, there needs to be more of that. That's how I find peace, because otherwise I'd just be angry all the time. It's easy to be really angry about like, why the heck would all these people still support Kanye or whatever. I mean, I'm using Kanye as an example, but it's just like there's so much more loaded there to like your personal experience with how you look at Kanye as a person and as someone who's influenced you as an artist.
I'm from Chicago. Hey, that's a black person from the Chi that came out and made it and was told in every regards that he is not the shit.
Yeah, like it's just it's so much deeper than that, and it pains me. This is what I mean. I appreciate that you think that I have important things to say and I need to say them more on the internet, but it is also kind of why I don't participate in that, because we've sat here for over an hour and a half.
You gotta.
We got 5 minutes is good, Jesus, but like. You and I can sit here for an hour and a half and we're still not done. No. Right? Like, and that's why nuance to me is like the greatest gift that I could experience in having any conversation or relationship with anyone or any group, is just being able to keep having those conversations. It gives me way more peace, because I can understand why so many people are angry and rage filled right now. I mean, speaking as an Asian woman, there's a lot of things that we didn't go into where, I am fucking pissed. I'm irritated. I'm frustrated. Give
us the number one.
It's like they're all competing for number one. I think like for me, I think about it like a lot of things, which is, we've been out here. So like as an Asian woman, when people are surprised about what it is that I do or what it is that I'm capable of on the fighting or whatever, it's like I've been out here, just like a lot of other marginalized communities who are like now stepping into the limelight, if you will, and speaking up about certain things, or the media is choosing to highlight more. It's like, I bet if you ask any of those people, as a black man, I'm sure you feel the same way. It's like, we've been out here, we've been doing the work, we've been existing. It's just now it gets clicks. Now it matters because, representation, University of Diversity, like it's now important. And look, if our ancestors fought and clawed their way so that generationally we can have our time now, okay, bet. Like I look at it as like I am my ancestors' greatest dream. I think about that a lot when I think about.
That's a bar.
It's something that like through the pandemic, it's something I've really reflected on a lot, which is that like when I think about, I'll try not to get emotional saying this, but it's like I think so much about what my family went through as boat people to get here, and then now that I was born here, I've manifested these things in life because whatever it is that their guidance imbued on me led me to make a series of decisions and actions that keep on leading me year over year in different places, exciting places, new learnings, whatever. It just blows my mind. And I can't thank my elders and my ancestors enough for putting that spiritually, like pushing me in this way, because otherwise I have no idea where I would be, and that's why like it's okay to say, you know what, in some nuance, here we go, nuance, tokenization is complex.
Yo.
That's a whole other topic. Because yeah,
trying to make the 3 hour long episode.
We only have 3 minutes left. But yeah, like tokenization is complex because on the one hand, you could say any article that's talking about top 10 black founders who are doing dope shit. We could argue and say, oh, that's tokenizing. Yeah. On the other hand, it's like, you know what? Give them their flowers. Because, you know what? Yeah, it is their time. Now, the evolution of that, I hope, would be that those people just make top 10 most dope founders doing cool shit. And it just so happens that they are black. That's the evolution we need to get to. We're not there yet. So when you're talking about, you know, the fact that there's a lot of AAPI women or just individuals in general who are getting their flowers, it's like, yeah, that's great. I hope that we also will just get these highlights, get these hits, make it on these lists or whatever, irrespective of our qualifiers as to who we are. That's true progress. We're not there yet.
But it is amazing to realize certain times that when a renaissance is about to happen.
Totally. And that's the ancestral energy, I feel. Yeah. Like, not to get all shishi woo on y'all, but that is
not just saying go for it.
But you know, but like it is a little shitty, but I do feel that like just this is a transformative time, and there's a lot of pain and tragedy that is unearthing and morphing. I'm very grateful for my lived safety right now, but also that makes me excited. It's okay to be scared too for anyone who's listening and they're like, no, fuck you. Like, this shit's scary right now. I agree with you. It is a very scary time we're living in. Based on my lived experiences, so I can only speak for me, I still look at this time as a period of really exciting opportunity. Yeah. You just gotta choose to take it.
People say they want to live through, or they glorify and really respect the people that lived through the civil rights era. I'm like, yo, homie, you living through it again.
It's just a different form.
It's the second coming of it. You better, what do you want to be within this? You want to be one of the leaders, organizers, people that were in the grassroots of it. You want to be the person of change or whatever else. Mm-hmm. You have the opportunity right now to be that. Go be that. Mm-hmm. But then if you don't take those opportunities, realize why those same people in the world didn't do anything back then, because they were scared.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and I quote this man way too much on the show, and he's problematic as fuck. But Dave Chappelle said it best. Hey, sometimes you have to be a lion to be the sheep that you really are. To be able to live in your piece of being small, of being whatever. Sometimes you got to do crazy big things to get there. And so, I don't know. Yeah. All right.
One last thing, I want to just pick it. Yes and. Wait. Yes and. We're in a yes and conversation right now, so I just want to keep. I can keep building fire. There's a trans gender nonconforming activist that I follow, and they said something in one of their posts that was really impactful for me. I mean, even as a cis hetero woman, which is, as it relates to all of these anti-trans, anti-gay bills that are really going to hurt and destroy our children. Like, that's just fact. Yeah. And also adults now, but especially children. They were saying that the reason why this is happening, for many reasons, besides hatred and all that stuff, but one of the reasons is, and this was so beautiful, they said it's because they fear our ability to just be. Mm. And even saying that gives me chills, because it's like, you're fucking right. Like, that is exactly the reason why any of this is happening, is because, and I say any of this meaning this second coming of our version of a civil rights movement happening right now in our current generation, is because, like, they do see what we are capable of being. So let's keep on being. And like, it's scary, but that's the fight. And and
don't be afraid to have those hard conversations. Don't be afraid to have those awkward moments.
Yeah. And because people have to break so many generational curses. I mean, and that includes white communities too. For the ones that are doing their best to do their work, self-educating, they're gonna make mistakes. And I think the fact that they're still choosing to be there, to be uncomfortable, to ask questions knowing that they could get reamed for it, the ultimate reality is they're still choosing to be there, and they're choosing to break their own community's generational curses. And, you know, like I can only speak for myself, so this is not speaking for my people or anyone else, but there is a part of me where I have greater peace choosing to give grace for those people who are choosing to try. So,
yeah.
Oh, I got sweaty saying that because, you know, it's heavy.
It gets intense here on the drip.
Yeah. Dripping sweat.
Real quick, before we go, I wanted to touch on this because you said this, and this is a thing that I kind of, for all my people out there, because I basically have been adopted by multiple different groups within the like Asian community. I've been adopted by Cambodians, Filipinos, like a bunch of the different groups. They're been my chosen family for as long as I can remember. Any point in my life, one of my best friends were usually either Asian and or Mexican, and it's a thing that I've always admired and to a certain sense been jealous of. Those communities having a very strong tie to their ancestors. And it's one of those things that I think is not touched upon enough, that the importance of being able to look back at your lineage, your history, your people's history, of knowing, like, you know exactly where you're from. You're not Asian. You know exactly what your community is. Like, for me to go back and try to find that, to be like, I am Botswanan, I am Ethiopian, I am exactly this, and then to even go further on to be like, this is my tribe, these are my people, this is the community, this is the language they spoke, this is what they dress, this is what they look like. That's lost upon us, and I feel like that's one of the things that makes it hard within the racial group of the group of POC. That is the thing that is hard for black people, because we have the fight of being black and yet African in the discussion there. And then more so of not knowing our legacy, our everything else. So it's been a hard thing to sometimes see my homies have this thing that
like
they
this
can
richness of
it's like, yo man, you don't understand, we come from warriors, like da 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 da, we are Aztec, we are blah blah blah. And I'm like, damn, that's nice.
Yeah.
Like it, and that's all to say, like, us finding that power is going to be more of us reaching into our history. But I think that that's a lot of reason why black people sit up here, and I do mean black, not African. Black people latch on to other groups to sit up here and have some of that, where then it becomes a pride in the mixture of us with others, because all of a sudden we get a history. It's like, it's the Miles Morales. It's like, yo, we're mad because he's black and he's Latino, and it's like, yo, bro, he gets an automatic history within this, but then he still gets the strength of everything that he was on the other hand. All that wrapped up. Well, just wanted to say that because you kept saying that and it just kept resonating to me, and I'm just like, man, I'm so jealous that you get to have that. But I'm also have so much respect and happiness being able to see it outside myself and someone else.
Yeah.
So really quickly before we go, because we have to do this. You already did grind your beans. You only have to do one other quick thing.
I do have like 20 other grinds my beans, but maybe we save that for a different episode.
We'll save that for a different episode. Oh God. You got to do this really quick. All right. Okay. Fuck, marry, kill. We just started doing this.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
That got loaded again really quickly.
we gotta do two things really quickly before you go. Bam. All right. So we play fuck, marry, kill, but we do this with Jordan. So, A, what is the one that you would sit up here, be married to, can be with every day for the rest of your life? What is the greatest of all time to you? Like, hey, if I have to go to the Grammys, I'm going to wear a pair of Jordans. What is it going to be? And then lastly, what is the one that you would kill off and get rid of?
Oh, okay, wait. So what's the first one again?
First one, the one that you would marry. The one that's like, every day I can wear this shoe for the rest of my life.
It would be the 13s, because my dad gifted me a pair of those when I was in 3rd grade, and they were really expensive, and he probably shouldn't have bought me them, but he did anyway, and I felt like the dopest kid on the block.
I'm gonna be honest. I can imagine you in a pair of 13s, and I feel like the swag levels are amazing.
Okay, wait, real quick, I gotta tell a story about that. So the first time I beat up a bully,
just make sure.
I know. You keep getting me excited though, and I'll just be late. This is live, so the other person can just see why I'm so hyped right now and appreciate and respect. So the first time I beat up a bully was when I was in third grade. I was in third grade wearing those Air Jordan 13s. They were red and white. I was playing wall ball, and he was a 5th grader, and he tried to steal them off my feet. And he tried to pick me up and dump me in a garbage can, and I kneed him in the balls. And instead of him getting in trouble, I got in trouble.
Of course.
Yeah, and I got recess privileges taken away from me for a week because of it. So that's why I also, like, the 13s I still actually have those exact pair from 3rd grade still in my possession. And then the second, so that was the Mary, right?
Okay.
What was the...
So then you have, like, the pair that's, like, the goats for you. And one.
It's not even
a question.
One. I'm very grateful to, as part of the Society 9 journey, one of my mentors is Peter Moore, who designed those shoes, and I'm very...
Yo! Lives out here, right?
Yeah.
We might need to talk about something because we got to have something happen.
But he... that started it all, right? So yeah, that would be...
I'm gonna tell you something, and please don't judge me on this. And Peter, please come on the show still. That was my kill.
That's heavy.
Dude, and the only reason it was my kill is not because I don't like him, I don't love the look of him or anything else like that. Like, yo, that's the Chicago shoe. That is the Chicago shoe. The only reason I had to kill it was I wear a size 15. I can never get them, and the sneaker app plays with my emotions. So I'm just like, yo, I hate you. I love you, but I hate you. I hate you. So yeah, that's that. All right. So which ones would you kill off? Which ones need to go away forever?
17.
The 17. Oh yes. All right. Yo, you're not the first person to say the 17.
There's something about it that's very like. Again, this is regardless of the year or era they came out in, but it just evokes the not so great parts of fashion from a certain area. That's
they just look like shitty Kobe, the first Kobe's that they made, the robot shoes. Yeah, it just looks like that to me.
Yeah, exactly. Like everything else has like certain design lines that carry through time really great, and there's something about that one that's just cheap, like hella cheap, and
yeah,
that's not what the legacy of Air Jordan is. So like,
all right,
kill off 17.
All right, last thing, you can go after this. Please, I'm saying this for yourself. Make it quick.
Okay.
Just make it
Stop
quick.
talking.
Just make it quick. So
Stop having opinions.
Because the only reason, homie from Kim Jong Grillin had a fantastic list, and I feel like the same energy from you, from him. So I'm kind of hoping that you have a fantastic list. I need your 5 MCs of all time.
5?
Yes, your top 5, and then I need your one R&B album, like the R&B album.
I might be able to give you 3 because I don't know that my brain I'm not. Okay, J. Cole.
Okay.
Kendrick Lamar.
Okay.
Old Nas. I'm not really into new Nas.
I don't think anyone's into new Nas, including new Nas.
You know, Nas has gotten into the investment business game, so like maybe that's why he's distracted. But same with like Jay-Z, old Jay-Z.
I'll take old Jay-Z, but the current Jay-Z, as long as he's with Beyonce doing a song, I'll take it because that Carter's album is fire.
Yeah, that album is fire. But yeah, like all the blueprints, like that was just like such a prime.
American Gangster is my favorite Jay-Z
Not
album.
that I'm like some sort of aficionado on like rap music, so but just on a gut and a feeling. You
just got one more. Just throw it out there.
Probably Pete Rock. Whoa. I listen to a lot of like I listen to Pete Rock when I work. It gives me like the right kind of energy and pace. So.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. Please don't follow him on social media.
Is he?
So bad. It's like one day he says
something. Is this
something,
a conversation for nuance or is it?
It's one day it's great, and then the next day
it devolves into.
Oh, it's like yo.
This is where
he's some Alex Jones. The fish are making us gay. Like yo,
that's so disappointing. See, this is where don't revere.
Separate the art from the person that's making it. All right, so this
Problematic.
last thing, you got that R&B album. What is it?
R&B it's probably gotta be like, it's gotta be TLC, Crazy Sexy Cool.
I was gonna guess that you were an Aaliyah girl, but this also makes
Aaliyah,
sense.
yeah, Aaliyah's close second though, but yeah, Crazy Sexy Cool. There's so much.
That
When the
album
beats
was
come
not
out on
meant
that-
for us at that age. We
Yeah.
should not have been listening to that album when it came out.
Yeah, but that album. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna cheat. DMX. Now that you told me about the Alex Jones thing, okay, DMX.
All right.
I used to have DMX albums that I hid under my mattress because it had the parental advisory. Sorry, Dad. And if he saw, it was the one with DMX with the blood. If my dad saw that, whoa, I would probably have been disowned. But we'll put Pete Rock over there and DMX.
All right, so this has been another amazing episode of Your Morning Drip.
Thank you.
I'm so happy you came here. Did you feel like you survived? Did you?
I think so. I hope like something doesn't go viral and someone's like, I hope I don't get canceled after that.
I mean,
I don't know
if
what I
anything
said.
you said that you got canceled for, fuck it. You should ride with it because everything you said was.
Yeah, everything I guess could get canceled theoretically these days. So.
So this has been another illustrious episode of Your Morning Drip. I'm gonna give you this opportunity to plug yourself real quick and be like, these are the socials, these are the websites.
Oh, okay. Society 9 is spelled out NINE, and you can follow me on Lynn LYNN _ Lay LE on Instagram.
And then you can follow.
Oh, and Society 9 on Instagram as well. Just Society 9 is spelled out NINE, no underscore.
Word.
Thank you for having me.
Yo, this has been Your Morning Drip. Thank you for checking us out. We will not be in this space anymore, so this is the last time we'll be in this space.
Really?
Enjoy it. Yes, you are the closing swan song of this physical location.
Bye.
So yes, if you want to support Your Morning Drip, go to yourmorningdrip.com. There is plenty of merch. There's all these prints that we have in here. They're on there. You can buy a shirt, do whatever. You can donate, become a Patreon member. But the easiest thing you can do is go on to any of our social medias. Follow us. If you're watching the live stream or YouTube, go click that notification bell. Subscribe. Become a part of the Drip crew. And yeah, thank you. Much love. I'm Ronan Rock. We are out of here. Lynn.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye, Portland.